You can't go to a hole and find somebody whole. That's just what it is. In reality, when it boils down to it, is the fact that we're going to the wrong places. We're looking for love at the wrong places. And it's time that we change the way we do things. And I'm going to help y'all find Mr. or Mrs. Right the right way. So stay tuned. Welcome to another episode of Chelsea's Live Line, and of course, I'm your host. Today's episode is about relationships. Yes, it's been a while since I've done an episode on relationships, but I feel like it's ever so important, as y'all know, whether you're single or whether you're in a relationship or married. So therefore, I'm going to talk about, about the fact that you have to recruit your mate. It's about how you recruit your mate, and it's about where you recruit your mate at. Maybe you have some stories to tell me about the fact that some of your mates weren't as good as they were or they should have been because you went to certain places that you should have been at, right? Wrong place at the wrong time. Okay? So let's talk about that today. So again, today's episode is called You Can't Go to a Hole to Find Someone Whole, because of the following statement. Broken people go to broken places. Yes, broken people go to broken places, y'all. And when I say you can't go to a hole, there's certain places you cannot find a wholesome woman, a wholesome man at. And we're going to be talking about those places. And maybe you can reflect on some of the situations you've been in where you knew that going to this place was enough to let you know that you shouldn't have mingled with that person or even took them serious because you were there. And I'm going to get started with the word of the day, which is coming from the following. Habakkuk, or as people say, Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, NIV, which says the following. For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. That's coming again from Habakkuk. I don't want to pronounce that wrong, but let me know. Chapter 2, verse 3. Yeah, so it tells you to wait, right? When we're in our single season, we don't want to wait. Is my hubby, future hubby at the door ringing the doorbell or what? Because we don't have time to wait. We want it now or never. And the thing is that when you don't wait, you get whatever, whenever. Think about that. Yes, and it's Mental Health Awareness Month, so I want to talk about relationships today because it affects our mental. Sometimes we can see people during certain seasons of the year and feel some type of way. We can feel envious because we don't have that relationship. We can feel jealous, feel jealousy towards them because they're in a relationship and you're not. And you want to feel whole during your season. That's what I'm saying, is that you can't go to a hole to find someone whole. Don't just go anywhere just because your friend tells you to go and you'll end up in heartbreak because it wasn't the right place to go. You found somebody who was a half, a third, a fifth, instead of somebody who was whole. 1 out of 1. All right. And shout out to Harrison Family Values for tuning in. He says, greetings, sis. Great topic. Looking forward to this. And I'm happy to have you here. Yes, because we had an episode a few weeks back on my birthday talking about the modern dating forecast for 2022. So I'm going to link that up here for those who watching the replay. You'll see that right above me at this moment. All right. So I want y'all to wait, right? I want y'all to wait. God wants you to wait for that person to come into your life. Wait, but. That's what I'm about to say. Wait, but. Don't be an idle waiter. Don't be sitting at the television. Don't be sitting here right now watching Chelsea's Live Line and expecting them to come to your door. It's going to take some time because faith plus works is what's going to be alive, not dead. Faith without works is dead. James 2:26. So that means faith plus works means that it's alive. It's a living thing. So that means you got to put in the work behind the scenes to make sure that that person, you are becoming whole. You're becoming whole and that person is becoming whole that you're waiting for in your waiting season, okay? What I want to do first is just talk about the fact that single season doesn't mean it's a bad thing. You're getting to know you. And if you can't love you, anybody else can as well. So what I want to do first is start with a clip from Tony Gaskins Jr., who is a relationship coach, as he talks about the fact that you need to be complete in your single season, so therefore you can flourish when time comes. Use your time wisely because you only get 24 hours in a day. I know we wish we can get more, but watch this video as it motivates us singles on how to just stay patient, because a single season means booked and busy.
Take your training, start doing something on the side. If you single, you ought to be booked and busy with your schedule. So busy that you don't have time to sit and salivate over the relationship you don't have. You so busy, you getting to work, you doing you. And then when you have experienced single life till its fullest, and you happy because you busy and you all of this right here, then that's what I mean by sick of it. Mean that you content, but you like, if my single life ends tomorrow because I meet the person of my dreams, I'm good. Like, I don't need any more single life. I'm content. I'm booked and busy. I'm doing me, but I don't need any more single life.
Exactly. So you want to be booked and busy, honey. Your schedule on Google Calendar needs to be so full that you don't have time for foolishness, okay? Seriously. That's the thing we have to realize, is that we need to be really taking advantage of the time that you do have, because when you're in a relationship, you're not going to have as much time as you have in your single season. So use that time wisely to be productive, not just trying to fish out here, because you may get caught on a hook. I'm going to get into that next. So just think about the fact that sometimes you've gone to places that you know you shouldn't have been to, and as a result, you're paying for it. Think about that fish and how they see a little wiggling worm, and now they distracted. Think about that man and how he sees a little jiggling, something jiggling, and now he distracted, and now he paying child support. Hello. So yeah, think about the fact that you make these decisions because of lust. Lust is leading the conversations today, and it has to stop. So what I want to do is play this clip from my pastor as he's telling y'all that the devil uses the wiggling worm, that bait, that everyday bait, to get y'all in a situation in where you're going to end up on somebody's plate. Take a look at this.
When you take a worm, put it on a hook, take that hook, and you throw that wiggling worm in the water. Fish was all right until the fish saw that worm wiggling, and he was so fascinated with the wiggle, he didn't see it was just bait to cause him to get hooked. The fish was so fascinated with the wiggle, and he went after that wiggle and got hooked, and the hook was attached to a line that wheeled him on in. And now that fish is laying on somebody's plate. And that's what the devil will do to you. He'll get you chasing after the wiggle. And mama told you everything that looked good to you ain't good for you. And you got so fascinated and consumed with the wiggle, and now you hooked, and you didn't know that the hook was connected to a line that was able to get you every time. And you keep finding yourself in the same spot, same place, laying on somebody's plate.
Do y'all really want to be laying on somebody's plate? Don't let that bait take you. Don't let it be clickbait. I didn't want this episode to be clickbait. This is real life stuff I'm trying to teach y'all right now, is the fact that you have to be discerning with your decision making. You can't be indecisive in this world when it comes to relationships, or you'll get anything and you'll end up on somebody's plate. You'll end up in somebody's grave, your own grave at that, because you let something that was enticing at the time lead the conversation. Just like Harrison Family Values said, is that stop letting lust to lead the conversation. Lust is leading. And if you take away the lust, then you actually see what kind of person this is that you're dealing with. Because most of the time, when lust is gone away, you're going to see that person's character. And that's what's going to determine what you're going to be dealing with for the rest of your life when you get married to this person. And then you're dealing with them in seasons, right? Each season, summer, fall, winter, spring, and even the bad seasons. Not just 4 seasons. It's more than that when it comes to a relationship, okay? And shout out to my cuz King Hanny for tuning in. Yeah, so I'm trying to tell y'all today, you can't go to a hole to find someone whole. If you are whole and during your single seasons, you're taking the time to actually get yourself to become better than you were in your previous relationship, you got to find somebody whole just like you, okay? You have to find somebody whole. So what I'm going to do next is tell y'all about the common places people go to recruit. And maybe you've had a situation. Maybe you can put in the comments if you go on somewhere and that you know that you shouldn't went to that place because it wasn't a good place to recruit somebody at. But I'm going to get into the common places that modern people today go to recruit. And then I'm going to follow it up by telling y'all places that us Christians, we should be able to go and actually find somebody who's decent-minded like us. But first, I'm going to get started with Romans chapter 13, verse 13, which says the following: "Let us behave properly as in the day, and not in carousing and drunkenness, not in sexual promiscuity and sensuality." Okay? So you shouldn't be out here carousing. You shouldn't be out here drunk. You shouldn't be out here in sexual promiscuity. And you shouldn't have any sensuality going on if you're trying to find somebody who's going to actually compliment you in this world. And I'm going to get into, hey, some people might disagree, but us Christian folks right here, what I'm about to talk about, the places that y'all go to recruit currently shouldn't be on your list. So first, I'm going to get started with clubs. How many times have you seen a man pick up a woman at a club? Right, he over here scouting, he recruiting. Oh, she fine, she got this tight dress on. I'm enticed, right? And then you end up with one night, which means child support money because you didn't wear any protection. You didn't care. It's about YOLO. No, it's not YOLO. It's called YOLO. You only die once, but you live every day. But when you make stupid decisions like that, it's a mess. So that's something you can't take back. You can ask somebody to get an abortion, which is just ignorant. If you out here making mistakes like that, over one night, over what something looks good. Do you know how many entertainers that y'all follow that have babies by different baby mamas and stuff because they met them at a club, at an event that they should have been just doing their job and performing at, but instead they went out here and got a baby and now they're paying child support, thousands and thousands of dollars. Let's just think about the fact that Tristan Thompson, who I guess is still in a relationship with Khloe, I think it's Khloe Kardashian. Yeah, Khloe Kardashian. And this man here publicly apologized to Khloe, say, "Oh, I'm sorry because I got a baby outside of our relationship." And he's paying like so many K a month. I don't even know how much it is, but just anything over $1,000 a month is a lot for child support. If you got it, you got it, but you shouldn't want to waste it on things that were a mistake because you out here just fooling and living for the moment. Carpe diem, seize the day. All right. So don't go to clubs because clubs, you're going out here to have a good time. And somebody who's going to the club on a frequent basis, you see them every weekend at the club, that's a red flag because what are you doing? Are you a club promoter? Okay, maybe do you want somebody who is a club promoter? Think about that too, because you might not want somebody who lives that lifestyle. So you have to ask these questions, and just because somebody looks good in the club don't mean you need to take them home because you don't know what kind of STDs you're taking home with you, okay? Next, strip clubs, right? I know there's men out here that go to strip clubs to recruit literally the strippers. Y'all throwing away money, and that shows me that y'all have bad money management. And I want to see, okay, in your past life, maybe you went to a strip club in your past life. And I'm not saying a month ago. No, I'm saying past life, like years ago, and that you're a changed man now because you put in the work and you realize that your self-worth is greater than going to a strip club to throw money to a woman who's not paying you any attention. She's paying attention to anybody who's paying her with dollar signs. That's it. So I don't feel like you should be trying to find a wholesome woman in a strip club. And then there's women out here today who will literally plan birthday parties at strip clubs because the food is so good. There's plenty of restaurants out here. I don't have to go to a strip club to find me some good food to eat. Okay? I'm sorry. There's plenty of restaurants out here in the world. So that just shows you right there, as somebody who's a straight woman going to a strip club because of food, yeah, okay. And it shows you, like, to men, I feel like, when they see a woman at the strip club who's just sitting out there with their girls and popping bottles, it looks ignorant more than anything. It makes you look real manly and very masculine. So just think about that when y'all going to these strip clubs to recruit people. I don't know if anybody so far has met somebody at a club or a strip club and didn't have success, but I would love to hear about it. And I'll be putting the StreamYard link in the chat. So if anybody wants to talk about a situation they have dealt with when it comes to relationships, you can be able to come up here. You don't have to cam up, but you can give your opinion via voice. All right. Next is bars. So for me personally, I don't drink. So therefore you will not find me at a bar to try to recruit somebody. Okay. I will not be at a bar because I know that at a bar, that's not the environment for me. I know that you just come in to get a drink and whatever reason. And usually people who come to bars, like, you're drinking for an obvious reason, and you might be drinking. You might come there every single day. So that means you have a habit, that you have alcoholism as a part of you, right? You might be an alcoholic, and I don't know that. And I don't want to even be in that environment because it's really not ladylike, especially see a woman drinking a beer or whatever the case may be, taking shot after shot. That's not cute to me. That's really teenager stuff. At a certain level, you got to grow up and level yourself up when it comes to everything you do, all right? Next, toxic friends. A lot of times people recruit who they are interested in when it comes to a soulmate based off of their toxic friends. You got this homeboy who has a baby mama who's never been married, and you'll get advice on your relationship from him. Make it make sense to me, y'all. Why would you go to a homeboy who isn't married, who has a baby mama, for advice for you in your relationship when you want to be married, when you don't have a baby mama? Like, just make it make sense to me. Why would you even try to get advice from people who mean you no good? And they'll comment on your relationship saying, oh man, I wouldn't be doing this, I wouldn't be doing that. But the thing is, you're not doing that because your woman puts up with that. Okay, every woman isn't going to put up with what your homeboy's homegirl does. Let me explain that again. Every woman, such as myself, isn't going to put up with what your homeboy's girlfriend or side chick does. No, it's called I have boundaries, I have respect for myself. So you're not going to see me out here getting advice from people who are toxic, who don't have the example of in a relationship I want. I go to relationship coaches such as Tony Gaskins or R.C. Blakes, or even my pastor Solomon Kinlock, or even Harrison Family Values, or That Christian Fam, or Cure for the Soul Ministries. There's so many people I can go to because these people are Christians. They're showing me what a biblical marriage relationship, or even if they're not in one, they're telling us what to do to get in one. That's biblical. And that's a Christian relationship. So don't go to these toxic friends because they're going to keep you single. You know the homeboys want to keep you single. Your homeboys want to keep you single, and so do your homegirls, so y'all can go to the clubs on the weekends, and so y'all can go to the parties whenever y'all feel like. I'm telling you, they will, like, you think the homeboys want to keep you single, but all of a sudden, they'll be in a relationship and cut you off because they found somebody they fell in love with, but you passed up so many good ones because you were listening to their advice. Next, I'm going to get into Matthew 15:14 here, because it's talking about just what I said. Leave them. They are blind guides. If the blind lead the blind, both will fall into a pit. Matthew 15:14. Next, I want to talk about online relationships, online dating, right? They got our dating for everything. Facebook dating. They may have an Instagram dating at some point. They've had Tinder, as you can see in the parentheses. And I think Tinder is a hookup app. Some people can find a successful marriage on Tinder, maybe. But really, most of these people are perverts that are coming onto the dating apps that want to look and see what you look like because y'all are showing so much. And that's a different episode. Y'all are showing so much, and that's a different episode. The reason for it is because y'all are showing everything that they would get in bed before they get into bed with you. Why? Why can't you leave something for the imagination? Why does everybody have to see, the color underwear that you got on? Make it make sense, y'all. But online dating, I want to play this particular clip from LaTanya from Cure from the Soul Ministries, because she was talking about online dating recently when it comes to us Christians doing online dating the proper way. And she's letting y'all know that y'all need to be a little bit more respectful with your profiles and not be thirsty, even online. Watch this.
For females, I suggest that, because, see, we want the man to find us, but it's also a way of you presenting yourself. When I did online dating, especially after I was married, I didn't go to people's pages and say, hey, I think you cute. I like your photo. What's up? I didn't do that. I pretty much would look at profiles, and obviously they could see if you looked at them. So I wouldn't say anything. I would pretty much be on the website presenting myself. If I'm on here, I'm saying that I'm single. So I'm presenting myself as a single woman to show that I'm available.
Exactly. Show that you're available, but that's all you have to do. When you show up at a place, like the places I'm about to tell y'all to go to recruit a mate, you don't have to say, hey, I'm single, y'all. Pick me, pick me. Let them pick you by letting God's light shine through you. You should be able to brighten up the room just based off of the godliness that's inside of you. You don't have to say a word. They can ask you if you're single once they get to the actual talking phase with you to ask you that question. But you don't have to display the I'm single shirt that says that because you want people to see that you are. Right? And then what you're showcasing, a lot of men will just think you're going to be a hookup for them because you're presenting yourself like that. Whether you want to hook up or not, what you display and what you keep back for people to see determines a lot about you. So next, I'm going to get into the places you should go. And before I get into the places you should go, I want to play this clip real quick from TD Jakes, because he was talking about how you need to switch up your whole style. Now that I told y'all what y'all shouldn't have done from the past, I'm about to tell y'all what y'all should do to level yourself up in your single season as you find that whole mate. Watch this, y'all. This is life-changing. Get your notebook out, because I got mine right over here. Watch it.
It can come through going to operas and plays. It can come through going to places off the beaten path where you have never been before and wouldn't think to go. You should go. And you should go and you should meet people and you should make friends until you become comfortable in the conversation in places where you've never been before. Okay? I want you to remodel your life, your wardrobe, your appearance, your vernacular, your tone, your temperament to where you're going, not where you've been. When you go back into the areas where you've been, you can always speak that language. You know that language. You didn't have to learn that language. You know how to speak that language. But I want you to adopt the language of your destiny and not just your history. And this is going to take time.
All right now. I hope y'all learned, because I learned a lot from that clip. What that means, what it's saying is that you cannot go to places that determined your history, but go to places that fit your current destiny or your future destiny, of course, because you have to stay away from what ruined you in the past. You have to stay away from what you once were. You should be forever growing. So that means you got to step into places that you didn't think you were even able to be in. Okay? So just make sure you know that you should go to new places, the operas, honey. I will go to see listen to Mozart or whatever I got to do, because I'd rather a man listen to Mozart than listen to Lil Baby and all these rappers out here, Lil Baby, Da Baby. Y'all acting like babies for listening to these men, whole men out here talking about their names are babies. So think about that as well, because no, what you're feeding yourself with determines a lot about you. It does. It does. And no professional woman wants no man that's constantly listening to rap. Do you listen to some jazz, some old school R&B, something of that nature? But let's get into these places you should go, because I'm going to keep going. But anyway, places you should go. First, to find a soulmate, let's go to the church, right? Yeah, with an asterisk mark next to it. So when it comes to recruiting at the church, y'all know that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Where? Even at the church. Yes. That's why I put an asterisk mark next to this, because we know that majority of the church population is women. It's majority women. 80%, I believe, right? So the number of men that are coming in are low, and most of the men that come to church are usually with their significant other. So it's a slim chance you're going to find you a decent man at church, unless you're getting involved into the ministries, into things that will allow you to continually see people on a frequency. Okay, so just think about that. Just because he goes to church doesn't mean that he's whole. Because let me tell you about this. I know people who go to church, and when they get to church, they're fully knocked out. Like, right? Fully knocked out. And I'm like, you're coming to the church to listen to the word, but you're knocked out. You know, God doesn't write a tally mark next to the fact that you showed up to church today when you didn't get not one word. Even the singers couldn't wake you up, and that bass was booming. Like, that alone shows that just because somebody attends church doesn't mean they are about that life, about that Christian life that you ever so seek. So think about that. Next is gym, with an asterisk mark. Places you should go to recruit a soulmate. The gym. If you like to work out, maybe you should go to the gym to find someone. And that's fine, because you see that they're healthy. They're living a healthy lifestyle. They're going to the gym. They're putting in that work, and they love their body. They love their self enough to get into the gym, right? But then there's an asterisk mark. There's some cons that you can look at as well, because if that man is posting a selfie every day he go to the gym of his body, of his upcoming six-pack and all of that, talking about, you know, summer body on the way, dot season, city boys, this and that, then you know you better run, because he's trying to get attention. He's an attention seeker, and he's not going to stop that once you get into a relationship with him. And then on the flip side, for the men who are single, who are looking for a real woman, a whole queen, she's not going to be posting selfies every time she goes to the gym either, especially when she's trying to record videos of her doing squats and doing lunges, and literally you see butt prints and you see cheeks enlarged and everything because of what she got on. You can be able to be covered and still get your workout on. You know what your body look like. So why are you trying to show everything off for somebody in the gym? Like, let these people be. You know, that's just the devil. Devil throws himself in every place, whether it's the church, whether it's the gym, or any other type of events. Now, find you some positive networking events to go to. Me, this past Sunday, I had the opportunity to go to 100 Men in Suits, which was an event where men dressed up, they strutted their stuff on Livernois in Detroit, and had the opportunity to raise money for a good cause, okay? 100 Men in Suits. I had the chance to see these men looking fly and fit in their suits, doing something positive. They ain't wearing jeans, polos, do-rags, and all that. They had their suits on. Fitted, some looking nice, right? And I was standing next to somebody when I got to the event. And that's what I'm telling you. You can go to these positive events, but it's always going to be one person that's out of place. Yes. And in this case, when I was standing at the event with my cousin Sade, it was this guy that came up to me. He had something in his cup, and I could smell the aroma, the unpleasant aroma from his mouth from what he was drinking. And he came up to me, he said, "Oh, you pretty, you beautiful." And I said, "Thank you," just to be kind, right? And he said, you know, what else did he say? Because he said so much, Lord. He said, "Oh, you smell good. What is that, Izzy McKizzy?" Just kept talking. And he's like, "Is there anything that stands in between me and you?" And I said, "God." He said, oh, I know God. I attend Joel Osteen Church online on Tuesdays. I said, oh, okay. And I kindly made my way away from him because I was sick and tired of hearing him talking, right? And getting on my nerves. Because I'm coming to this event to look at the men in the suits, talk to Kwame, do a few other things, right? And he gets to the event and he's talking to me. So I move away from him because I'm tired of him talking to me. He asked me, could he shake my hand? And I said, no, it's COVID. He said, not one hand, not two hands. I said, no hands. I'm not doing that shaking hand stuff. So then I went away, and then I felt somebody touching on my elbow, right? I felt somebody touching on my elbow. So then I'm like, what's going on? I thought it was my cousin touching me. Then I looked back, and he touching me on my elbow, on my shoulder, and all that. I said, oh, no, I don't do that touchy stuff. And he said, oh, it's nothing like that. I said, oh, it is, but I don't appreciate that. So then we got away from that because my cousin, she was complaining that he was touching on her. So you have to realize that whether you go to positive networking events or not, it's always going to be devils and people who are not there for the right reasons. Right? You're supposed to be watching the suits, but you're trying to recruit me, and just this is horrible. So that was just an experience I had. But regardless of that bad experience, I had good experience. I was able to talk to some guys who were wearing suits, who came professional, and had intellectual conversations with them about other networking events. So just because one monkey wants to ruin a show or whatever you want to call it, it's like you can't let that influence anything else that's going on. And I'm going to give a shout out real quick to my cousin Nadia, because she said, look and see that he volunteers for an organization or go to volunteer events to actually recruit people. That's an excellent one, because I'm very passionate about volunteering. And I feel like that's something you need to have, is that spirit of giving back, because you can get all you want, but if you don't give back, then that's nothing, right? And that's a good thing. So volunteering, if they're passionate about any type of causes out here in the world, such as hunger, or maybe they're into animals, whatever the case may be. So positive networking events such as volunteering. Great one. Yeah, so the next thing is after work affairs and just getting to know people in a casual setting. That's a big one as well. Maybe your work has a bowling event, or maybe just going out to eat. But that's a great opportunity to meet people without being in the work setting. The next one is black tie affairs. I actually recently went to an art show and had the opportunity to be able to communicate with other people. It was just a great setting, because if you have a love for art, that shows that you have, abstract thoughts, abstract feelings, and a broadened mindset when it comes to, the works of the world, such as art. So I think that's a great one as well, just showcasing your intellectual capability. The next one that showcases your intellectual capability are bookstores, the library, and book signings. Yes, because I have a membership to Barnes & Noble. I have a membership there, so I get discounts and whatnot. So you can catch me at the bookstore. You can catch me at the library, my local library. And I like to go to book signings as well, because it shows you're passionate about, the curiosity you may have for a certain type of book. And that shows a lot about people, the books that they pick. And some people can tell you that they love books and this, but I'd love to see your library, your personal library that you have. Because I have mine right over here for myself to see that, hey, the proof is in the pudding. Somebody can say they love books, but when's the last time you read one? So that's very important. Meet intellectual people at intellectual places. Next is the cafe. Places such as I can't even think. Panera, for example. Panera is a good one. Going to a classy cafe, whatever's local to your town. Maybe in your downtown area, there may be some cafes you can go to. So that's a good place to find people as well. Maybe they're reading a newspaper. Maybe they're on their laptop. That's definitely a good place to recruit people. Grocery stores, but I have an asterisk mark next to this one. It's nice to meet people at grocery stores and have something common with them, that you love to shop, that you love to cook. However, let me tell you this. You need to look in them carts to see what's going on in them carts. Because just because they shopping around, you don't know what they shopping for. Do they have water in that cart? Some type of vegetables, some type of fruits? Or do they have a bunch of snacks that are no good, that have a bunch of sugar? You got to look at all that, because you want to know what kind of person you're dealing with when they're going to the grocery store. Are they buying healthy things? What are you snacking on? What are you eating on? Do you have a bunch of chips and Red Bulls? Drinking Red Bulls every day and stuff that you wouldn't have in your household, right? I like to have fruits, vegetables, healthy carbs, healthy proteins, all of that. But if you don't see that in them grocery store carts, then keep it moving, because what people eat right now, this is when they're comfortable doing it. So they're going to eat worse when they get with you, and then they have that happiness when they're in a relationship and they get really happy. They start eating more and more and more. So just be aware of that as well. Next, when it comes to places to recruit people at, especially as us Christians, when you're going to a college, right? I've heard from Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, that he said that you should go to, most people, such as everybody but us, goes to college to recruit their soulmate. By the time they get out of college, not only are they getting their degree, but they're also getting a ring. I see it. But we don't, as black people, we don't believe in that more often than not. So just think about the fact that when you're in college, this is the time to recruit, because it shows that they're on their grind, you're on their grind, so y'all have that commonality that y'all can use. How about the airport? Maybe on a plane. Y'all heard of snakes on a plane. Maybe soulmates on a plane. So for real, maybe you can meet somebody at the airport. Maybe because you like to travel, so you go on to different destinations, and then y'all just bump into each other. You never know where you can meet somebody at. Next, it's classes, right? Because when I think of classes, I think about cooking classes, things you find time for in your leisure time. So cooking classes, dancing classes. I love to hustle. Well, whether that's getting money or doing the actual dance, right? Real life. But I like to dance. So I love to do the social. I love to go to dancing events where I know I can have a partner and we're dancing together. They're twirling me around type of thing. That's just my thing. I always stay on the dance floor no matter where I'm at. And I feel like that's very important. Wherever you like to do in your leisure time, especially when men love to have women who cook for them, right? So take up some cooking classes. There's many places that offer cooking classes that you can find. Search one up now, or maybe right after the episode, because I want y'all to learn this information I have for y'all today. And if you have some recommendations, let me know as well. But I feel like a big place that you can go to recruit your soulmate is at a wedding, right? Is at a wedding. You heard plenty of times where people catch the bouquet and they get married. But just catching the bouquet is not enough for somebody to say, okay, I'm going to marry you. That's not enough, y'all. So don't think just catching that bouquet is enough. You got to put in the work behind the scenes to get that man. So I've heard that so many times. Oh, I caught a bouquet. I never got married. But you have to put in the work behind the scenes. Faith plus the work. It wasn't even faith, because bouquet is just whatever to that, whatever. But all I'm saying is put in that work with the bouquet, and then you may get some results there. Okay, so go to weddings, go to those receptions, look classy, look nice, and even go to places such as Rent the Runway and get you a nice dress that you can be able to rent and not have to pay so much money for a dress to go to an event. Okay, and shout out to my mom for being tuned in as well. Yeah, so that bouquet is not enough. No, you got to put in that work, because people think just because I got a bouquet, I'm going to find me a man, but you got to go out here and do the work. Nextly, excuse me, y'all, I'm over here talking any type of way. But next, I want to say, recruit by talking to godly people who can tell you that, hey, I have a such and such person I want to introduce you to because I think y'all be a great fit. That's exactly how Judge Faith Jenkins and her husband Kenny Lattimore met. I read Judge Faith Jenkins' book, which is called Sis Don't Settle. And in Sis Don't Settle, she says that she was getting back into her love for music, right? And that's when she met with a producer who said, hey, are you single right now? And she said, yeah, I'm single. And he said, okay, I have somebody I want you to meet. He's been a friend of mine for a long time, and I want you to meet him because y'all both have a love for music. So little did she know that it was Kenny Lattimore, and she had the chance to meet him, and they fell in love, and they've been married now. So look at that. Just because of, you have to make sure you go to people who have your best interest to find you someone who could be your perfect match. You never know. So go to godly people, get recommendations from those you trust the most, right? So that's very important. So those are just a bunch of things that I had to offer when it comes to places you should go to, right? Places you should go to. Again, I said the church, the gym, positive networking events. And the list went on and on, but you can watch the replay to get those more in detail. And then I started off this episode telling y'all common places people go to recruit. Stop going to the clubs or the strip clubs. Stop going to the bars, and stop recruiting based off of what your toxic friends have to say about this person, because they usually don't mean you any good. And shout out to Kay for actually tuning in, KL, because he comes over from Cure for the Soul Ministries. He's watching some of LaTanya's episodes sometimes, so shout out to you for tuning in. He said, Christian Connects is the best option, but please make sure they are show enough Christians. Don't refer wolves to the brethren, okay? Hello. Yes. That's a fact. I'm so happy to see KL in here once again, as well as Amy and Bible Truth. Yes, shout out to you as well for tuning in. I'm just wrapping up this episode as I tell people where to recruit their soulmates from, because you can't go to a hole digging and digging and digging to find someone who is whole. Because in your single season, you can be out here doing whatever you want, going to the clubs, going to all the unnecessary places, but then realize that you're going to be reeled on that hook because you saw the worm wiggle. Do you know how many fish are dead out here because they saw that worm wiggle? Do not be that man out here that sees that little jiggle and gets fascinated. Do not be that woman out here that sees a man with a nice physique and thinks that's about to be your fiance. I'm telling y'all, I'm preaching louder than y'all clapping, like Pastor Blake's be saying, but for real, I am preaching at the moment, just letting y'all know, don't let all this entice you, because you have to be patient. You have to be patient because it speaks of the end. It will not prove false. That revelation will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. It will never delay. And shout out to Amy because she said, I never go to clubs. That's what they do, outwardly stuff. Exactly. Do not go to clubs to find somebody y'all tipsy and y'all letting the liquor speak for y'all. Y'all letting the Ciroc speak for y'all. Come on now, speak for yourself. Let God speak through you and let that person let God speak through them so that you can know this is a true and genuine godly connection, all right? And I see these comments coming in. Exactly. Like godly people are not going to all these places, these outwardly places that the world goes to find a mate. And godly people are not telling you if it's 5 o'clock that you got to have interactions with a person to let them take you serious. That's not true either. But y'all heard this. So make sure y'all go to the right people to get discernment. Make sure you get a good circle. Get you a personal board of directors, people who can actually influence you to live your life the right way. Get out there and change your narrative right now. Single season doesn't mean there's no hope out here. There is hope. Put in the work. Faith plus the works. And just remember during your single season to stay booked and busy. Stay booked and busy. That's the key. Book up your Google Calendar, your planner, whatever it takes, and change the narrative to know that someone is coming for you. They're coming sooner than you think. You just have to be patient and wait. Not while watching this episode, like waiting in your room, thinking that the doorbell is going to ring, but being proactive and doing the things you love. Because when you do the things you love, you're going to find the one who will actually love you. All right. And I see these comments coming in. Yes. Look what he told Israelites, be separated from other nations. Yes, you have to be separated from other nations because if you're not separated, then they'll find a way to tear you apart. For real. They'll find a way to tear you apart and make sure that you don't have success in your relationships. But make sure y'all like this video, please, and share it with somebody who can benefit from it, who's in their single season, or maybe somebody who is in their relationship season that just wants to hear something that they actually agree with, right? And the people who are listening to this, they have the wisdom. They have the wisdom, but those who are not listening are the ones who need the wisdom. So send it to somebody who needs some wisdom. And I hope they get it. I'm not trying to offend nobody. I just want to tell y'all the facts. And I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. Shout out to Latanya for oh my God, if I can talk today. Let me say this again. Shout out to Latanya from Cure for the Souls Ministry. Shout out to her. That's my big sis right there. From Detroit, but currently in Texas. Yes, and girl, if you watch the replay, I actually have you in this video. And shout out to Dara as well. Hey, y'all really tuning in. Hey, Chelsea, he most definitely not in the club. Oh yeah, I know he's not in the club, honey. And even if you're a club promoter, getting money doesn't mean he's the right one for you. Yes. So if you watch this episode, I was going to tell you, Latanya, is that I actually featured you, the part where you're talking about online dating in this episode. So watch this replay, y'all. I'm about to get off. I'll be back next Wednesday for another episode, but please make sure that y'all like this video. Let's see who else is in the comments. Shout out to Mr. Bobby Wright, man. Y'all tuning in for real, okay? And Mr. Bobby Wright is actually a fan of Chantel Simone, who I watch all the time, so he's on here tuned in. Watch the replay, y'all. Just came on here for 38 minutes. I'm not real long when it comes to these lives, but I just want to get the word out and let it simmer in y'all minds. So I appreciate the love. I appreciate y'all for having me here. Shout out to Miss Tracy as well. Y'all doing it. Salute. Yes, catch that replay and I'll be back for another episode. Make sure y'all like it, share it with somebody, and I pray that y'all find a soulmate that y'all ever so desire. Stay tuned for next week on Chelsea's Live Line.